It never happened. It doesn't exist. It's pure fantasy.
The thing is,
this is utterly crazy.
The ban is what he said he would do in his in the presidential campaign. He's carrying out his promise.
No, except he did say in the campaign, he said he wanted to ban on Muslims.
Yes.
He now says this isn't a Muslim ban.
Well, he says it's a they are predominantly Muslim country. But also the list, of course, he got from Obama. And people say, why not Saudi Arabia, why not Egypt? He did. It was
another invention.
Obama
had no intention of banning people from
that
those
list.
This is it. Look, do not try to defend the indefensible. You'll get into a swamp and it'll suck you in.
But what
You'll go into the mad world of Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's policy is proving very popular in the United States, where polls have given him a massive lead on this. He knows exactly what he's doing. Kevin says he's an idiot. He's not an idiot. He wouldn't be an idiot. He's got to become president of the United States by being very, very clever.
Or by lying.
He's
lying
president
again.
of the United States,
a bit more after that.
And this policy is popular.
Dripping poison.
And people say, why didn't he bring in the ban with Saudi Arabia? Oh, Kevin says he's got business interests. Actually, apparently there's intelligence share between the United States and Saudi Arabia, which is why he didn't do Saudi Arabia.
Business interest.
Now on to your choices of top newspaper stories of the week. Andrew, the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Justin Welby put on the spot because this investigation into the summer camps that took place in the late 70s, beatings, he was making them strip naked and beating them with a cane, and it was their punishment, and it was and there was a sexual undertone, it suggested, to what he was doing. He's in South Africa, says he's done nothing wrong. Winchester School has been dragged into this because some of the pupils went to these camps and the school was aware of the abuse, and it is a form of abuse.
Oh, come on,
And it never got referred to the police. It was covered up.
The Archbishop has apologised, though.
He has apologised, and he said the church should have done more, the school should have done more.
He hasn't said whether he knew what was going on there.
He says he knew nothing about it. He said he hadn't even heard a whisper.
It's embarrassing for him, but there was an era when the BBC questions over Stuart Hall and Jimmy Savile, Rotherham, we know, institutionalised abuse.
It's slightly different, this, because, I mean, some of the people who were being caned were 21. I mean, they were adults.
Yeah, no, but it's still exploitation, it's still abuse, and people are being preyed upon.
Kevin, your story.
It's a ban on CVs at Ernst & Young, one of the big accountancy companies, and they found, if you look at a CV, you begin to favour certain people. So they've gone blind, and more working class kids are getting recruited, non-private school kids, and they're beginning to rate them on ability with tests rather than looking at which school they went to and their backgrounds, even if you have work experience, because well-connected people can get their kids in. And they're finding they're getting better accountants. It should be more widespread, because there is a problem that a small group in society is hogging the jobs, and a lot of very talented kids are being locked out.
Yeah, I mean, as one who went to a state school comprehensive, I think it's great. But you see why they view CVs in the past, because it's a quick filter.
Yeah. No, I would have thought...
And efficient.
Yeah, I used to be a big supporter of using CVs. I'm not so sure now after this. You know, the proof is there in the recruits, Ernst & Young.
Wonder if they've hired you.
Are you wasting your life being a motorist?
No, fortunately. I haven't had a car. I haven't had a car since 1988. But according to this research now, motorists are spending 4 days a year not raging at traffic jams, which is probably 14 days a year, trying to park a car. The average motorist in London, it's 8 minutes, because there are not enough spaces, and if it was me, when I'd find the space, it'd be another 8 minutes trying to park the car, because I'm no good at parking.
I'm a little suspicious of the time here, but I am relieved that you don't drive.
I do drive, I just don't have a car.
No, keep it that way. There's enough danger on the roads as it is.
Kevin does the weekly shop in his car.
I do. Well, I drive.
How long does it take to park?
Right,
Actually,
another story you may feel you've heard before. The actor playing Doctor Who is retiring.
He is Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi.
And the 13th Doctor, we'll find one in December, could be a woman, could regenerate as a woman, Olivia Colman, who's a fantastic actor.
It won't happen.
Superb in Broadchurch 2012. Why not?
Does she want it?
After more than 50... Well, it doesn't matter whether it's her. You could easily have a woman and regenerate.
It's quite interesting. I have noticed, apparently, not that I watch Doctor Who, but I do follow these things, that all Doctor Who's sidekicks are currently men.
Yeah.
So it'd be logical to have a woman.
Yeah, and she's a terrific actress and we love her, and Broadchurch is back in the next few weeks and she is fantastic. I've got to say, I'm glad Peter Capaldi's
Sidekicks are women, you mean, don't you? I'm just thinking, the sidekicks are usually women.
Peter Capaldi, who stood down, was useless.
He was. He wasn't as good as Matt Smith or
David Tennant.
Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant. He was poor, but he wasn't as bad as Peter Davison.
Oh, John Pertwee was my favourite. Who's your favourite?
Those great coats.
Showing your age. I think it was Christopher Eccleston.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
All right, there we are. Well, thank you very much indeed for that look at the weekly newspapers. What about the thumbs up and thumbs down of the week? The ups and downs. Andrew.
This is this rapper called Drake, who of course I've never heard of, but he's offered a refund to people who went to his gig after one of his fellow performers fell through a hole in the stage. Which is remarkable, and I think we can see it. Look, just watch this.
Oh,
we shouldn't laugh, but one does. So here he goes.
This is an up, but it's actually a down.
Yeah, but he's gone down, but we think it's up because he's offered a refund, and I'm not quite sure. I don't think the performer was hurt too badly. I mean, look, he's all right.
I'd pay extra to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
The performer actually said he quite enjoyed it.
I think he did.
But I understand what it did was it stopped some special effects working.
Oh, is that right?
Which is why the money was coming.
You'd want to go see a rapper anyway.
All right.
Lots of people.
And who's down?
Northern Lights. Now, these are these fantastic, dazzling arrays of solar arrays that we see sometimes. Because of changes in solar energy powers, which I don't understand because it's far too technical for me, we may not see them over Britain anymore, and they will be restricted to the North Pole area. No, it's to do with wind and movements of solar energy, apparently.
I think some changes are natural. We cause others. I think global warming, climate change, man-made, is real. Yeah. But I think this is just, over time. It's rather like in the, was it the 16th century with there was like a mini ice age and the Thames would freeze over and so on.
Danube's frozen at the moment. Have either of you ever seen the Northern Lights?
No, sadly not. We better get in there quick.
Exactly.
And Kevin, your choices then. Up?
Lego. It is now considered the most powerful brand in the world, overtaking Disney. And I just love the fact that these little colourful blocks you build, I did it as a kid, I've done it with my own kids, it's still there, and it's rather simple. And in an age when computer games, although they have branched out and so on, well, it's taken you a while to do that, but nevertheless.
The Lego store on Leicester Square in London, and the run-up to Christmas, they'd have to have bouncers outside to police the queues, and people would only be allowed to go in for about 20 minutes at a time because there was such a stampede. I hated Lego as a child. Loathed it. My brother loved it.
Never enough bricks to build what you wanted, but
I'll buy you a set for Christmas.
No, thank you.
I'll buy you some. Only a small one.
No. There's also a Lego Batman movie, which is branding on man.
Yeah, it's done very well. There's Legoland down in Windsor. Other theme parks are available. They're very clever with their marketing.
Right, and down?
Oh, it's got to be Johnny Depp, and he's spending. He's suing his business managers, but they say, hang on, you've been out of control. $30,000 a month on wine, they say. He spent $3 million on a cannon to send Hunter S. Thompson's ashes into the air. He doesn't just buy an island in the Caribbean, he buys islands. Doesn't just buy a house in France, he buys a village.
How many bottles of wine do you think that is for $30,000?
I think he's pays a bit more per bottle than you do.
It's not the fiver you get, 3 for a tenner you get in Asda.
I think it's probably a very good vintage.
You do get do you still get your 3 for 10 in Asda?
I sometimes do, yeah. Other supermarkets are available.
I'm glad I never get invited.
Right. So it's Johnny Depp's.
Yes, very good. Bum bum.
He's going down. Well, thank you very much indeed. And please don't forget, you can send us your nominations. You just have to use the hashtag WInOur.
Well, rolled out the nation's welcome mat again. Immigration supporters celebrated in major cities today while the president lamented on Twitter. What is our country coming to when a judge can halt a Homeland Security travel ban and anyone, even with bad intentions, can come into the U.S.? Paula Reed has the latest.
I find that the court should and will grant the temporary restraining order.
Those words lifted President Trump's travel restrictions on people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. The ruling came in response to a lawsuit filed by Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson.
The law is a powerful thing. It has the ability to hold everybody accountable to it, and that includes the President of the United States.
The judge said it was this argument from the state solicitor general that convinced him the executive order may be unconstitutional.
Our claim about refugees is primarily that it is religiously motivated discrimination, and that the order is in large part motivated by religious animus.
President Trump criticized the judge and the ruling on Twitter. The opinion of this so-called judge, which essentially takes law enforcement away from our country, is ridiculous and will be overturned. The White House argues the order is intended to protect the homeland. The Department of Justice is expected to file an emergency petition to allow the federal government to resume enforcement of travel restrictions.
This TRO is granted on a nationwide basis.
Just hours before the judge's ruling, President Trump defended the travel restrictions in a weekly address.
The executive order establishes a process to develop new vetting and mechanisms to ensure those coming into America love and support our people, that they have good intentions.
But after the judge's order, it's back to business as usual for now.
I said from the beginning, it is not the loudest voice that prevails in a courtroom. It's the Constitution. And that's what we heard from Judge Robart today.
This is just the first step in a series of decisions before the courts issue the final word on whether this travel ban is constitutional.
Balance the executive branch. I'm curious, though, Paula, any way of gauging whether this will be unconstitutional?
In the hearing, the judge hinted that he thinks he sees some problems, especially with how this was drafted so broadly. There were no exceptions for people who had visas because they helped the United States or people who had green cards. That, he suggested, could be a problem when the government tries to argue this is just about national security and not a